Hello again and welcome to another tutorial by myself, Mr. Roberts, coming from sunny Treorchy again. This model is a lot more difficult than what we've done previously, but it's only just an extension of what you've learned, so a bit of hard work should get this done. So from the drawing I've made, you can see that there's a few components here. The basic sort of premise of this design is that it's got a notepad holder or like post-it note holder, and also it'll have holes in it later on for 4 pencils. So making this net shape is really quite difficult. I thought I'd map it out using this software I've got from my iPad, stage by stage for the net shape. So if you're pretty good with nets, you can just look at this, copy it onto a piece of cardboard, and you've got the basic net shape. I've not put the extended sort of flaps on this drawing for the folds to secure everything together, but that's at the end of the video. The tools you need: scissors, pencil, ruler, protractor. I've got my working drawing there, and again I'm using the 2mm modelling card. I've used the protractor here to make a 90-degree angle from the edge of the card to start me off. I've come away from the edge of the card because I need to put a flap on the side of the model later on. This is about 140 millimeters away from the edge. That's for a flap that needs to go in later on. I've extended from the base of the card 120 up. That's shown on the drawing here as this side piece. Now I've marked away from that line 200 millimeters, and again I've projected that line up using the protractor. Now I checked this distance and I noticed I was a couple of millimeters out, so I've just adjusted that to make a perfect rectangle shape. Further down the line, if you don't do this, it's just not going to fold together nicely. So as you can see here, I've extended that line further on, and making sure that that is 200 millimeters apart. I've extended the first line. Now this gives me 2 long parallel lines, which I'm going to need to make sure my net shape is all nice and flush and not crooked in any way. So here I've just drawn a line straight across, and I've extended past those 2 parallel lines. This is 120 millimeters off the baseline where we started from, and it represented on the drawing here as the back sort of piece. It's 120 millimeters high, so I've just drawn another rectangle away from there at 120 millimeters. Now if I look closely at my drawing at the top right hand corner, there's a small hinged part that's only 20 millimeters long. So I need to draw another rectangle attached to the top end of this that's only 20 millimeters tall. So it's a small rectangle, so just be careful drawing that in. Further on from that then, the next part is 100 millimeters. So I've done another rectangle that's 100 millimeters, just following those 2 parallel lines. Another rectangle that's 100 millimeters. And finally then there's a small piece at the bottom which is 20 millimeters wide, and that's just attached to the end. Now what I did here was I just thought I'd going to double check now that I've still got lines that are parallel to the base and that I'm not running skewed here, and I've checked with my protractor that it's a 90-degree angle in the corner and that we are still running at 200 millimeters wide. Now what you're left with here is a rather long rectangle that's got 6 small rectangles split in between. So 2 120s, a 20, 2 100s, and another 20 to finish. So the next 2 pieces we are looking at are the side pieces, and I've drawn here or illustrated here on the drawing how that folds down into the net shape. Now this is where we left that gap at the beginning of 140, because we now need to draw a square shape of 120 away from our original rectangle. So from the top of the first rectangle we drew, I've come across 120 millimeters, and then on the bottom of the rectangle, the first one we drew, I've come across another 120 millimeters. Just checking my protractor, I'm creating a line that's parallel to the existing line that we drew in the first instance, and I've drawn that square then on the other side of the drawing as well. Now, if you're a bit confused of what's going on in a minute, just keep watching and all will become clear. We basically just drawn the two side flaps, like illustrated again here, that fold up to make the full shape. Now, from my drawing, you can see we've got this taper cut away on the corner, which is about 50 millimeters from the top panel and the right bottom side. So on my cardboard model, I've drawn in 50 millimeters from the corner to the left and 50 millimeters up from the corner. And all I'm going to do now is just join those two points up to make the notch or the taper I want to cut out. I'm just going to put my protractor on there to make sure it's around 45 degrees. Now I found that it was 44, so one degree out is not going to cause too much hassle, so I've left that. So the final net shape should look something like this. If yours doesn't, don't worry, just go back and have another little look at what you might have done wrong. It is a difficult template to follow, but it's basically like a cuboid shape. So keep trying until you get that shape. I've put a few strategic flaps on this now to allow it to fold together a little bit easier. There's two either side the second rectangle up, two on the side pieces, two little ones that are about 18 millimeters squared, and one on the far edge just to fold back into a complete shape. So there's the final net shape what you should have. So again, like in the tutorials, I'm scoring the edges. This time I'm using the blunt half of a butter knife and a steel rule, and then using the steel rule then to fold up as a guide next to it. I did slip and mark my table, so be careful not to do that. So with all of those folded appropriately, we can start to kind of get this thing in shape. Folded the whole top section over to make this L shape, and there's a flap there then that I sellotaped on the inside. Now if you're unsure about how this all folds over, just have a look at the drawing, see if you can figure it out from there. It's not too difficult, it just folds over into a big L shape. You'll be left with the two side pieces only, and then the little flap, which are about 18 millimeters squared. If you tuck those in then to the back end of the L section, like so, you should have your finished model. So I've sellotaped on the outside of this one because I am going to actually paper mache this model today, to give it a bit more rigidity and see if we can get it to actually work and function as a proper test tidy. So what I need to do next is just find out the distance between the two edges to put in another piece to put the post-it holder onto. I found it was 140 millimeters long, so I looked through my scrap pile for a piece of cardboard that I could get to fit on. Now I need this large rectangle to be 140 long with two 20 millimeter side parts, top and bottom. I made my rectangle 100 millimeters wide, so the whole length is 140 plus 20 plus 20, which is 180. You've got a rectangle at the top that's 20 millimeters, a rectangle at the bottom that's 20 millimeters, and it's 100 millimeters wide. Again, scored and folded the top and bottom faces together, and this just fits over the left side of my model. For the pencil holder at the top, I've marked 20mm intervals across in the center of this top piece. Um, punch those through them with a pencil. Be careful to use a sharp pencil for this, so if you don't, it could collapse the model. So there we go, we got the 4 holes ready to go. Now all I need now is some paper mache mix. Now I strongly recommend you don't use PVA for this. The reason I've used PVA is that I didn't have any flour in the house at the time. You can use a PVA mix if you've got really good rubber gloves. Please don't do it barehanded. I can't stress this enough. You're better off just using the flour mix. I'll put a link to the flour mix at the end, so you can find it at the end of the video. If you are going to use PVA and you're going to use rubber gloves or non-latex gloves, I would suggest the mixture be 1 part PVA to 4 parts water, and you just give that a good mix. Now I chose a nice sunny part of the garden to get this done because it's just going to dry a lot quicker, and I've placed some newspaper down. Now when tearing the strips, it's funny that paper will tear really nicely in one direction and not the other. I think it's got something to do with the weave, but I don't know for sure. So find out which way it tears nicely and tear the paper into strips. So I dipped my strips in and then applied to the surface of the model with the brush, trying to push the excess sort of liquid and air out. The closer you get this to the card, the more rigid the design is going to be at the end. So if we're going to make this a functional piece, then you want to try and make sure that lots of the excess liquid is pushed out. Make sure that you re-pierce the holes in the top of your pencils. I'm going to let this dry. Now once that's dried, I would put another layer on at least just to improve the rigidity, but for the purposes of the video we've moved on to the next stage, and that's putting the base coat paint on. A thin layer of emulsion on. I'd make sure that the emulsion is quite a light colour, because if you put it on too dark, you're not going to be able to put brighter or lighter colours on afterwards. So here it is, the final finished article. I've dressed it up with a sticky pad and a jar, so you can put a ruler in, rubbers and pencils or whatever you need to put in there. Normally we'd make this out of something like MDF or a bit of plywood, just to give it a bit more rigidity, but it works as it is, so quite happy with it. So evaluation wise, I'm really happy with the shape. I think functionally it works pretty well. I think it's a little bit big, if I'm honest. I think I'd like to make it a bit smaller. Manufacture wise, I would definitely take more time to put some more layers on and make sure that those layers have been put on with a bit more care and precision, just to give it a bit of a better finish. But thanks for watching, and if you could do the evaluation quiz afterwards and upload your photos, and that would be great. Thank you. Here's the flour mix papier-mâché link.